So Heather, how do you use social media to promote your artwork and connect with your fan base?
I started using social media.
Oh, by the way, cheers.
Oh, of course.
Take a sip. A little
Cheers.
social drink.
Little Diet Pepsi.
Right? A little ginger ale.
I started using social media really early on. Even I think even before I was selling, because I was so excited. I was making stuff and it just seemed like a thing to share. So I shared it on like my private socials, and then I don't know. I had that moment where I was like, I'm Heather Gwinn art. I'm an artist, and it felt like a momentous thing to start these accounts.
Right.
But I didn't know how SEO worked. I didn't know how hashtags worked. I didn't know how anything worked. So I just talked. I would put out what I was working on. I would talk about I would mention my kids briefly, just that I had them, and I would tell them funny stories about my kids. I would talk about what I made for breakfast, and it turned into a weirdly authentic community. It's not. I don't have a huge following, but I have people who have followed me since the beginning. For 8-9 years, they've been following me on social media. And I really just talk to my friends. I use social media for my art, much like I do my personal social media. These are people that I care about. They're people I engage with, and I want them to know what I'm creating. And
Now, have you made a lot of like personal friends through the artwork and through the social media, like that are not like in your immediate circle?
Yeah, a handful. I mean, I have a handful. I have a friend, Rob, in London, who has bought lots and lots of my work, and we're friends on social media, and we talk. I've never met him in real life, but now he's kind of part of my life, and I have friends in Dublin and sort of all over the world. And
isn't it nice when you plant those seeds and then one day maybe you could actually, when you're on a visit, you could actually meet these people?
Know. That's what I gotta like get in real good so I can like stay with them and not have to pay for
I
housing.
could think like asking them questions like, hey, like if I'm coming to visit, like could you make some recommendations? And then you could maybe end up like saying, well, yeah, if you're in the area, let's meet. Like, might as well.
But these are for real friends. Yeah. These are people I legit talk to. They tell me about, I'll mention to them that I, watched the Midnight Club the other day, and they're like, oh, have you gotten to episode 4? And I'm like, yeah, I'm only on 3. And they're like, oh, wait. And I have these wonderful casual interactions with them. It's very friendly. And I have some really intimate interactions. I have people who talk to me about their art therapy groups. And
so on that note,
yeah.
How do you balance your work, your professional life, your home life with your family, and then your art life? Like, how does that all? Like, how do you juggle all that?
Well, when it comes to work, I only work when I'm supposed to work. I mean, I have like 8 to 5 hours, like most other people, or whatever shift you work. But I have 8 to 5, and I try really hard at 5. The computer closes and I'm done. Like I don't take on work outside of that 40-hour schedule unless I absolutely must. I'm really protective of that time. And with the rest, I mean, when I started, my kids were 6. My youngest was 6, and so I had a gaggle of kids at the time, and there was dinners to make, and the house is to clean. There's always dishes to do. I mean, people eat every damn day multiple times, and so there's constant stuff going on. And at that point, it was really sort of creating in the cracks. If I had a moment, and that's where the quick stuff, the pen and ink, really helped, because I could sit down, I could draw for 15 minutes, and then somebody would holler "Mom" from the other room, and I'd put the pen down and I'd get up and go. Now my kids are older, and so I have studio space and I have time, and I try really hard to set aside big chunks of time just to create. Whereas like Thursday night, I mean, it's not always the same night, but like tonight, I'm just creating. At 5 o'clock, the computer goes down. I tell the kids, like, y'all are on your own, you figure out food. And I have an evening to myself to just putter and casually create. Because if I have to do it on a timeline, it's not.
See,
it's work.
That's a big part of what the channel is. The artist Grapevine. What I want to discuss with artists and also with the viewers is that you don't have to be a full-time artist. Most artists work a 9-to-5 job, and that's okay.
And I think there's a benefit to it. I mean, for me personally,
my best ideas come to me when I'm just in the break room at my job, or if I'm sitting there doing some task at work, and then I realize like there's like my most creative moments come, and then I gotta figure out how do I save this. I keep a notebook. I write these little. I keep notes.
I take photos of things. I'll see something and I'm like, oh my God.
Another thing too I do is I use my cell phone. Or I have a little drawing app, I can make a little sketch, or I can write some notes down. And then I can save it for later, and then I can kind of keep that germ for later, to where I can try to make something of it.
Well, and I think that tension, like I want to be creating all the time, and part of the reason I want to all the time is because I can't. If it was always there, if it was always, I mean, if it was something that I could do at any point, would I love it? Would it be that much? It really is my rest. It is how I refresh myself. And work provides so much fodder for the art, because you have experiences at work you wouldn't choose. You wouldn't seek these people out, right? They just show up and you have to figure out how to contend with them. And so you have experiences that you would never look for on your own. Right? And
it puts you in an uncomfortable position
and
to
you
where
have to
then
figure out
and
how
that's
to problem solve
and you
it.
problem solve it, and then you get these wonderful little nuggets of creativity.
Right, and you meet people who have all these other experiences, right? And so if I didn't have that, because I thought about, I mean, there were times, especially when I was making more money, when I was pursuing making money, that I thought I could do this full time. But I kind of wonder if I would not be as, I don't think I would be as happy with it, but would it be as interesting?
Right.
Because I think I'm personally very interested in the work I make. I think it's interesting while I'm doing it and when I'm done. And part of that is because I have all of these other experiences and this tension, this work art tension that I have to balance all the time. And I think there's value to it. I think it's a good time. I do wonder about people who don't have kids though. Like, how does that work for you? So you've got time, right? Because like you work a shift, but then you're.
It's really weird. I mean, I don't know. I think we all fill our time. Like we only have so many hours in the day, and then I think we just get accustomed to it. Like if I had kids, I would have probably a lot less time to do my creative stuff, but I would figure out a way to do it, much like how you do it.
And I think when you don't have a lot of time, you really milk it, because you're like, I got to, now is the time, and I have to grab it and I have to seize it. And if you have more of it, I mean, but do you run into
There's
that
more of
where
an
you're
immediacy.
Do you ever feel sort of like I can do whatever I want, and so there's not a drive?
I almost feel like I'm kind of spoiled, and I realize like, man, you should be getting a lot more done because you have all this free time. Like I know people like yourself who get a lot more done than I do. It seems like, and they have a lot more on their plate, and I think it's because that go keeps them in that situation, and it's that drive. So I think that's important. You got to have that, and if you don't, you got to find it.
Right.
You
got to muster it
from somewhere, and through like physical exercise, getting out, and either through meditation. Right. Some way to just clear your head to make way for this creative.
Well, and sometimes laying on the couch. I mean, like for me, because I don't have.
See, unfortunately, I do that probably a little too much. That's probably the problem.
But that's part of it too, I think. Like our brains need to rest. Our brains need to. We need to consume music and movies and stories and have experiences. And
sometimes
so
I feel guilty.
It's not lost.
Sometimes I feel guilty when I'm doing some of those things though, because I'm like, man, why am I not at my drawing table? I should be drawing.
You can draw on the couch. I draw on the couch.
But I need it. It's almost like I have to have it because like it's stress relief. It's like
a reset.
meditation. It's a reset for like just everything. I think but I'm never more at peace when I'm working on a project. And sometimes the hardest part is just getting to the table, getting to the seat, and sitting there and knowing that I have this blank page that I have to fill. Right. But then once you're in it and you're in the throes of it, that's when you're like, man, I'm in my best place. I'm in my happy place.
Right.
And then you're working, and then.
So when you're working, you say when you're at the table, do you always draw at a structured setting?
I have a structured setting, but I mean, I found that I can go anywhere. I can take my tablet to the coffee shop. I can actually find out ways I can draw my phone now.
Do you ever draw while you're watching TV?
Yes.
It is like the best thing.
I'll sit there, I'll listen to it, but I'll draw, and I'll still keep. I was watching, I think Innkeepers the other night.
Oh my god, that movie's so fun.
And you can just listen to it.
What a great movie.
You can just listen to it. You don't even have to watch it. You can just listen to it, and it's almost like it's like a book on audio. Yeah. It's wonderful.
And I can do it when you talk about balancing. I can do it with my kids too, because my kids will be like, "I want to watch a show, but I want to spend some time," and I can just sit and draw.
I was drawing,
and I'm hanging, and I'm still sharing space with them. We're still having this communal experience.
I'm almost like I'm multitasking. I'm entertaining myself, but I'm also getting my work done.
And they'll fill me in too. They'll be like, "You have to watch this part," and so they'll rewind it so I can pull my eyes up and look. Yeah, so it's.
But yeah, it's fun. Like I haven't been on a horror kick lately. I finally watched The Babadook.
You haven't seen The Babadook until now?
Everybody was like, every time I saw The Babadook on social media, I had to stop. Like, because I was like, somebody's going to throw a spoiler, because everybody's seen it but me.
Everybody's seen it.
And
I don't
watched
think it's spoilers after this many years.
That's what everybody told me. They're like I was like, I was on social media once, and I was like, don't say anything. I haven't seen it yet. And they're like, what are you talking about? How have you not seen this movie?
At this point, no one's going to protect you.
And everybody's like, how have you not seen it?
Have you seen Black Phone?
Yes.
Oh my God, so good.
Black Phone. I watched
that. That was really excellent.
Yeah, I watched that a couple weeks ago. Black Phone was great, and I just watched, like I said, The Innkeepers. So I've been watching I don't want to get into like scary, like brutal horror. I watched the Halloweens, which.
Did you watch the new Hellraiser?
I haven't. Everybody said I've heard mixed.
It's okay.
Reviews.
It's okay.
I did just watch the original Hellraiser.
Right, me too. Because I had to prep.
Yes.
I watched the first one. I watched the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I got further than that.
Yeah, the original Hellraiser has always been my favorite.
The original's good. The second one's solid.
Yeah.
New one's worth watching.
Okay.
It's worth watching. It's like the new Candyman. It's not my most favorite thing, but it's worth watching.
Yeah, but I think we were talking earlier about cabinets.
Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yes. So good.
That rat episode.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
It was really good.
Grave robbing.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter was really excited to realize how much money you could make grave robbing. She had no idea.
Oh yeah, that was like a
She's
stock
like,
and trade there.
Bury them with their gold teeth, and I was like, I don't know, dude.
Right.
I wasn't there.
Oh yeah. There's like that was actually a profession there,
albeit
illegal.
Right.
But yeah, they were just grave robbing.
Steal all the shit, sell the bodies. I mean, you got so many options. It's so much smarter than just burying them and leaving them.
Young Frankenstein. I mean,
right.
One of the greatest movies, comedies of all time. I mean, it's all about grave robbing, isn't it?
Right. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about did you have a mentor? Did you ever have somebody that you, or do you have a mentor? Somebody that you talk to now or you have talked to in the past that influenced you?
I mean, I have a very interesting. I have a mentor. Her name is Rachel, and she bought a piece of art from me. 2014 maybe, and she shortly after sent me a message and she said, I run an artist mentor program and I would like you to be part of it. And I said, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay. And she's just brilliant. She sends, there's a hand, I don't know how many people are in the program right now, but she sends I'm not kidding, dude, every day I get an email from her. And it is a piece of art or a piece of poetry or a piece of film or something.
Is this program giving you a mentor or is it providing you an opportunity to become a mentor?
She is mentoring. And so she is someone who's available, we can call her at any point. She has worked in lots of different arenas in the art world, in film and in visual arts. And she has a lot of experience, she has a lot of information. And so she talks to, we'll call her with issues, whether it's running a business, the art business, or it's how to create, or I have so many kids, I can't get anything done. And she'll sort of talk people through it. And she sends us, then every time she has a phone call or conversation, she records them and transcribes them and sends them to all of us. And so we all get mentored by each other's questions and we don't know each other personally. We don't interact directly, but she sends us all of this information. And that's my mentor relationship. It's not an intimate relationship, although she is the first person I told about my divorce in 2016. She was the only person I could think of that would help. And so she's wonderful. But I don't really have heroes or people in the art world in particular that I look up to. Like I said, before we were talking, I have no art history. I don't know anything. I love some things, but I don't know anything about them. I don't hold them. I don't tend to hold things in high esteem that other people do. It's all very personal. I'm more focused on myself than anyone else.
Well, we're going to wind this down, but I have one more question for you. And what is that you're working on right now presently, and what do you want to promote? I guess what are you promoting right now at present time?
What I'm working on, I don't know, I have 8 or 9 paintings in progress. I just released a coloring book that's going to be available for sale for another couple of weeks. It's a pretty limited run of things. So that's all sort of, in the works or wrapped up. Primarily the focus has been for the last few weeks on a podcast. It's produced by Ransom Media. Tanya Ransom is the producer, writer. I think she's done pretty much everything except the voice work. And I signed on with them a couple of months ago as an executive producer. And they just released, it's so cool. They just released the first. So when we were talking about like what we do, like audiobooks and whatever, most of the time when I'm painting or I'm drawing, I'm watching something or I'm listening to something. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I love horror podcasts.
Oh, no.
I mean, they're my thing. I love the Night Archives. I love Nightlight, and
see, for me, it's comedy and just like current events, but like anything that has to do with maybe like comics, art, pop culture. But mostly right now, it's just been like comedy because that's the thing that gets me through the day.
Well, and I think it feeds what we're doing too. I mean, I think when you're consuming something as you're creating something, there's going to be a reflection. There's going to be something that happens. And I do better work also when I listen to horror. Like listening to Clive Barker audiobooks is amazing.
So
but
you have an executive producer credit.
I do. Which is really wonderful. And also, so you know, executive producers, you just contribute money.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I thought executive producers had to do something a little more
Had
substantial, right? Like had a job, like some responsibility. But I saw what it's primarily Black creators, but there are lots of other. It's a very diverse population who put this together, and it's horror, and it's a podcast, and it's just. It couldn't be more up my alley as far as what I consume when I'm actively creating.
Now, where can the viewers like find your podcast? Like, is it out yet? Or
it is out yet. The first episode premiered on Halloween.
Oh, nice.
On October 31st, and it is out, and it's on all the platforms. I haven't found a streaming platform yet that you can find it on.
And what is it called?
It's called Afflicted.
Afflicted. Okay, and we're gonna put that in the description down below. So, if you guys want to get in touch with that podcast and you want to listen to it, it'll be in that description. And I'm also going to have a link to Heather's social media and where you can get in touch with her. Now, do you do any blogs, or is it mostly just?
I do. I have
Patreon.
I have a Patreon that I post on fairly regularly. I do have a blog on. It's heathergwinnart.com.
Okay.
And that's where, and it's got links to all my socials as well.
Right,
and I'm also Heather Gwinn Art on literally all the socials: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't have Tumblr. I don't do Tumblr anymore. Is that still a thing?
I think so. I still get notifications. But,
you still get notifications from Tumblr?
Yeah, just from Tumblr. Like, hey, just like.
Wow, you're old school.
Yeah.
That's like having a Hotmail account.
Weird.
I know, right?
I mean, it's just like I just go to Pinterest or one of those others. You know, just like Instagram. Like that, I find that's the easiest, quickest way to get what I need.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, well, thanks for being on this episode.
Thank you.
It was so good to see you and hear all about what you're doing, and getting to talk and get to share some stuff with viewers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe. And again, this is the artist Grapevine. And I'll be having more content out here shortly, and hopefully we'll have more cool interviews like this. I really want to start talking with more interesting people like yourself.
This is really fun. This has been a really nice time.
Oh yeah.
It's a good time.
We're gonna do more of these, and you know, maybe hope I'd like to have you back.
I'll do it.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Well, great. Again, I'm Dan Alexander. This is Heather Gwinn, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.